Welcome. This is the seventh grade, lesson 3, Energy for Life. Hopefully you've kind of been paying attention, and as you've done the homework, you've looked at the questions, because there will be something coming up with this. So, trapping and using energy. That's what this lesson's really all about, okay? So, they want you to think of like a can. All right, the chemical reactions of metabolism need various proteins. The can has petty changes because the can opener, but the can opener does not change. So your body is providing the metabolism that opens the can that releases that energy is kind of what we're saying here with that energy of the food. Now, as we move on, photosynthesis. Living things are divided up into groups based on how they obtain their food. All right, ones that do photosynthesis, they are producers. All right, and they capture the sunlight energy. They use carbon dioxide and water vapor to release oxygen, water vapor, and energy. All right. Now, producing and storing carbohydrates. Producers use photosynthesis and are usually green because they contain a pigment called chlorophyll. All right, chlorophyll is an important one. Plants use these carbohydrates as food for growth, maintenance, and reproduction. They produce the food, then they consume part of the food to grow. We can cut them up and do that. Carbohydrates are many times seen as breads or other things made by wheat, but they can be in many other foods. Respiration. Now, during respiration, chemical reactions occur that break down food. We respire, breathe it in, we have the food, and through respiration, we break down the food and release energy. All right, this happens in our mitochondria. All right, the mitochondria is not this. All right, but the mitochondria is where this is happening and where the energy comes from. Now, breaking down these carbohydrates again. All right, they're broken down into glucose. Glucose is what is made during photosynthesis. As the glucose molecules are broken down, energy is released. The two molecules would get broken down again and again. An example of glucose would be the sweetness of fruit. And we have a nice apple picture here. All right, fermentation. Fermentation does the same thing as respiration, but without oxygen. Fermentation begins in the cytoplasm. Your muscle cells use fermentation to change the simple molecules into energy, and lactic acid is created while releasing the energy. All right, organisms that use fermentation produce several different wastes. If you are working very hard and lactic acid builds up in your system, this is what will cause you to have muscle cramps and other things like that. All right, and it usually involves sugar. Okay, so some producers use photosynthesis to make food. All living things use respiration or fermentation. Some of the other things besides humans that use fermentation are like yeasts and bacteria. They use that fermentation to release energy, or they use respiration to release energy. The chemical reactions of photosynthesis and respiration cannot take place without each other. It is a circle, a cycle is what they're saying. Photosynthesis, the waste product is carbon dioxide, or is oxygen. Humans breathe in oxygen. The waste product is carbon dioxide. The plants take in the carbon dioxide, and that cycle continues over and over and over again. All right? They are related, and they are built into one another. Now, some of the vocab, if you didn't remember, the total of all chemical reactions in an organism is its metabolism. Metabolism. Photosynthesis is when producers use light energy to make sugars, glucose specifically, which can be used as food. Blank means chemical reactions occur that break down food molecules in simpler substances and release energy. That is respiration. And fermentation is simply respiration to release stored energy in glucose molecules. And we have credits running for some reason. All right. Fermentation is no oxygen. All right, that's what fermentation is. No oxygen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you've got your full fill.